How you doing? I'm David McCann, a singer-songwriter from Bangor. I think the first music I listened to was probably the music, like most people, the music their parents listened to. So it would have been jazz and stuff from the movies of the 40s and 30s, stuff like that. But I was given a record by Burl Ives for my 9th birthday. And I just couldn't believe this. This was just incredible. And it's great stuff. And if anybody knows Burl Ives, they tend to think of him as being this kid's entertainer. And he was a whole lot of other things besides. You know, he was a great actor, but also a great folk singer. And this was all old Americana songs, you know, like John Henry and stuff like that, Billy the Kid. And that's when I first heard guitar that interested me. But I didn't pick up the guitar until I was 16. And my brother-in-law, who was about 5 years older than me, and of course, anybody 5 years older than you when you're 16 seems cool, you know, so he played guitar and I learned from him. I suppose I started off with, it was a little Spanish guitar, and then I moved to acoustic. So my brother-in-law, Billy, he taught me finger picking initially. So I didn't start off with a plectrum, I started off with my fingers. And it was only when I picked up the electric guitar, I tried to use a plectrum, and I've not had much success with that, so basically I just stuck with fingers the whole way. I believe the people in town can see the fairy lights that hang from the mast of the boat. And I know that for them it's not like other nights. I believe that's what keeps them afloat. 11 long months since I last kissed my family goodbye, on a cold Sunday morning on shore. Tomorrow they'll miss me, I'm certain, but I am sure I'll be missing them more. Oh, for this Christmas Eve I am all at sea. No, Jesus walks over water to me, and I know I am lost without anchor or compass or key. Oh, that's a good one. I'd been in a band with my friend Eric and a few others when I was like 23, and he wrote the songs and never had any interest in writing songs at that time at all. And somehow, I don't know, it was around about, I think it was in my 40s, and I was working with a guy called Stephen Arthur, who was, he's in the Lazy Flies. And Stephen and I were not in bands at that time, but we were both talking about songs and songwriting, and I think that's when the idea came to start. There was one particular day in the bar in the Crown at Christmas one year, and we all came up with the idea that if we only could write a Christmas hit, then every year the money would just come rolling in, and you know, that was the idea. So we wrote about 15 Christmas songs, and so far the money hasn't yet come rolling in, but there's a few of them recorded under the name Reindeer Tracks, and I think it was my first complete song I'd written myself. Looking at the colour of the Belfast hills from my ugly pea-stained boat, I wonder how I left this place. Hidden in the post in a mess of bills, I found the letter that you wrote. It made me want to see your face. Sing to me as I come into shore, my love. Bring to me what you did before. Show me your love and your hate, and I'll settle the score, my love. Sing to me, bring to me what you did before. I honestly don't get those flashes of inspiration, like driving the car and suddenly a melody hits me. That doesn't happen. The odd time I'll get some words that I like the sound of, just a phrase maybe, just enough to kick you off. But mostly it's just sitting around, you know. playing something with a guitar, just doing something. You get something that you like and you pursue it. And then you either get a riff you like, or a chord progression, or a melody, or both. And then I just tend to hum over it, or rather than hum, I usually just make up nonsense words, which I would really rather nobody ever heard. But yeah, that's how it tends to come about. And then you fit the words to the melody. Find me pressed between the pages of a book, or from the corner of your eye, somewhere you won't think to look. Find me in the shapes that starlings make, caught between the bridges and the night, stars reflected in a lake. Find me, find me. I have a trouble with recording. I've done it on my own. I've done an album in 2010 with Dyke and Leg down in Newry, and then I recorded 3 albums with the Sandrunners, and that was an absolute joy. I really enjoyed that. We went to a studio in Derry to record for the Sandrunners, and it was just great fun. I could spend all day doing that every day. It's tiring, but it's really good fun. You get a bunch of people there together, and you throw ideas out. You know, you've rehearsed your part. But then somebody will say, "Oh, that'll be a wee bit of mandolin in there," and somebody will have a go at that, you know. Or, you know, what happens if we put this harmony in there? And I love that. I love that kind of in the moment thing. You have to be there at the time, and that's what I find when I record my own. I don't have that spontaneity. You know, I just work on what I've done. I try and get a groove down, and then put the guitar down, then put the vocal down, and it's just not as much fun doing it without a group of people around, or maybe even at least a producer, you know. So I think getting into the studio is probably the way. When I find myself beyond myself and don't know where to go, I turn my mind inside my mind, and look in there, I know. When I stare out there at the great nowhere, and I am feeling small, I turn my mind inside my mind, and I can see it all. Yes, suddenly I see it, just what I need to know. I've been given the grace to understand. The longer I stay here, the further I go. Oh, it used to be terrible. It used to be awful. I mean, I used to come with everything in 16-point Courier in different colours, for one colour for the verse, one colour for the chorus, and it had it in front of me on a piece of paper, and I would still forget the words and still get lost, until it was actually Stephen Arthur said to me, you know, have you ever tried rehearsing? And of course I thought I had rehearsed, and you rehearse until you think you've got it. But as another friend of mine said, a good amateur will rehearse until he gets it right, but a professional will rehearse until he can't get it wrong. Now, I'm not at that level, but I'm a lot better than I used to be, and that makes me happier when I get out in front of people. Nowhere near as nervous as I used to be. and it was debilitating. I don't know how to answer that. It's obviously what I do on my own is very singer-songwriting, but I released a single there in 2022, which I do play on the acoustic, and I may well play today, but it's very much more produced. Stephen produced that, but it's very much more produced. Lots of electric, lots of drums, bass, all that there. So I played all those instruments except the drums, which I programmed. But then, it sounds much fuller. But on my own, I think singer-songwriter is about as close as you're going to get, because it's not really folk, and it's certainly not rock and roll, So I don't really know. It's a toughie. Happy as a baby, happy until I was fully grown. Then people started saying, hey, there goes Davy, the saddest man that I have ever known. I had so many chances, and all those chances I have blown. People kept on saying, there goes Davy, the saddest man that I have ever known. I was so unhappy, not the kind of guy you want to meet. Unhappy from the top of my shiny bald spot to the bottom of my cold feet. How do you get your name out there? How do you get gigs? How do you get radio play? That's all hard. That's not what most people who write songs or who play instruments started off wanting to do. You want to play the music, and you want to create, and you want to do all the fun stuff. You sort of hope that some agent's going to come along and say, yeah, I'm going to make you famous and give you all this, or not even famous, just a couple of gigs here and there. But people don't do that anymore, or if they ever did. So it's up to every individual singer-songwriter to get out there and do his own work, and that's not easy. It's a complete context switch from the creative side to the business side. And it takes you to have a certain personality to go up and approach people and say, here, I want a gig, and I haven't really mastered that one yet. So any hints, just send them my way, please. I wake each morning in an empty bed, I tell myself, I have not been dreaming about you. Oh, if that's the case, tell me why are all these tears upon my face, and can you please explain? All I want to do is fall asleep again and dream of you. Talking to a stranger on the morning train, I hear myself say, I've already gotten over her. Oh, if that's the case, tell me why is there nobody in your place, and can you please explain? All I want to do is fall asleep again and dream of you. Every night my broken thoughts, unspoken thoughts betray how I long to hide my sorrow through the day. Every day, my waking thoughts, my aching thoughts still yearn for the day to turn to night, so my dreams of you can return. I think that will know that, the chances of actually becoming famous or rich or even making a living out of it, it's hard work. It's really tough. And if you're not doing it because you love it, then you probably shouldn't do it. Do it because you love it, and if something else comes along or you manage to make your way, that's great. But if you're not loving it, just don't do it. is a harbor somewhere out in space, somewhere out in space. And hope is a heartache when you won the race, when you won the race. What if I could tell you that the earth was ending soon? Wouldn't you be horrified to learn I was the last man on the moon? No new horizon, they gave it all away, threw it all away. And who puts a price on what we did that day, what we did that day? What if I could tell you that the earth was ending soon? Wouldn't you be horrified to learn I was the last man on the moon? 45 years from that day until he left the earth again. Now have we no ambition? Are we lesser sons of greater men? Oh, that's an easy one. I have a website now, which I update once every quarter or so. I'm going to update it soon with a gig coming up. It's davidmccannmusic.com, and I'm also David McCann Music on Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, that's it.